Well, to the United States now, where a man accused of attempting to shoot Donald Trump made his first court appearance this morning. 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh is now facing 2 U.S. federal gun charges, 1 possessing a firearm as a felon and 2 possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Both charges stemming from an incident that unfolded Sunday at Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Police saying Mr. Routh was waiting in the bushes where the former president and current Republican nominee was playing golf. Secret Service agents reportedly spotted the barrel of the gun and opened fire, thwarting what authorities believe was a second attempt at Mr. Trump's life. The suspect was eventually apprehended and Mr. Trump was not harmed. Still, many questions are now being raised about the level of security that's required in this U.S. presidential campaign. And Mr. Trump, for his part, was quick to launch a fundraising effort on Sunday evening. With more on the incident and the fallout, we're now joined by journalist David Levinthal. David, always good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, great to be back with you.
Now, listen, of course, this story raises a lot of different questions, but we're a political show. So I do want to focus on the politics, and apologies to people that don't necessarily want to talk about that right now. But, you know, this campaign has already had a few inflection points, one of which was the first assassination attempt on Trump's life back in July. That incident and Trump's defiant exit from the stage really, invigorating Republicans going into their national convention. So I wonder, does this second attempt on Mr. Trump's life give added momentum to his campaign?
With respect to the seriousness of the situation, Michael, probably not. And here's why. This situation, the second assassination attempt, was a lot less dramatic. Now, Donald Trump, certainly in the hours after it took place, has tried to make as much of it as possible. He's used it as a fundraising opportunity. He's splashed it all over his webpage, in text messages and emails. So he's really tried to drum up support from his supporters. But a shot was not fired so far as we know. Donald Trump most certainly was not hit with a bullet, and it stands in great contrast to the situation back in July when Donald Trump was, of course, hit with a bullet and was millimeters away from potentially being killed.
So perhaps not momentum, but I'm wondering if it creates some type of pitfall for Democrats, though, because, while Democrats have been quick to denounce the second attempt, and we need to underline that fact, they have been quick, but Republicans are also accusing Democrats right now of endangering Mr. Trump's life by describing him as a danger to democracy. And take a look right now at what was said today on X, the preamble from Mr. Trump calling out what he quotes as Comrade Kamala Harris. He says, because of this communist left rhetoric, the bullets are flying and it will only get worse. So you say that this may not help Republicans, but I do wonder, Dave, if this second attempt on Trump's life essentially has the potential of creating a pitfall and hurting the Harris campaign.
And on that point, too, I don't think it necessarily will. And here's why on that. Donald Trump is, of course, very, very prone to hyperbolic rhetoric. He will make anything, any situation, whether it is quite grave and serious or trivial, into something that is a bludgeon, a weapon, a tool to hurt Democrats with. This has been his playbook for the better part of the 10 years that he has been in politics, while he was running for president, while he was president, while he was out of the White House, and now trying to get back in again. So if we look at polls a few days from now, a couple of weeks from now, I wouldn't expect there to be any demonstrable shift stemming from this incident as a result of anything that Donald Trump is saying. It will certainly play well with his base. It will rile his supporters up. But the undecided voters, the independent voters, that very small slice of the electorate here in the United States that truly matters, this is probably not going to be a game changer for them one way or another, or particularly harm Kamala Harris in the wash. Okay, so in the political discussion, it does not necessarily have an impact, according to what you're saying. But, we have had these 2 attempts on Donald Trump's life. So I wonder about the impact on security. How is security going to change? How will that have to be planned going forward, at events carried out not only by Donald Trump, but by Kamala Harris as well? Most notably, Michael, expect that there is going to be a lot of action this week and going forward on Capitol Hill. Congress is going to take it up. There is already a committee that had been set up for the first assassination attempt to answer exactly the kind of question that you just posed. At the same time, too, Donald Trump is a former president. There are 5 former U.S. presidents alive today, none of them, including Donald Trump, received the same level of Secret Service protection that the President of the United States gets, Joe Biden, of course, or Kamala Harris, by virtue of her being the Vice President of the United States. But Donald Trump is a singular figure. He also is a figure who has businesses. He was on one of his business properties when he was playing golf when the second alleged assassination attempt took place. It's a private club. It is open to members. It has had security lapses that have been quite legion in the past. So unless you have a situation where a Donald Trump is receiving the same kind of presidential level Secret Service protection as he would get if he was actually president, there are going to be certain things that are not going to happen, including a complete shutdown of an area when Donald Trump is there. And that did not appear to be the case, and would be expected that it almost wouldn't be the case given the fact that he isn't president of the United States.
It'll be very interesting to see where the discussions go, though, given this is the second attempt. David, thank you for that. I always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Michael.